It's Fiat Fiesta time at Mondello again. The racing success story of 1993 has gone from strength to strength.
Pennyburn, it's unbelievable. There's Fiats as far as the horizon.
That's right, 31 of us here today. We've 2 races. We're going to run the first 7 and from qualifying go straight into the first race, and then the rest battle it out in the second race for a position in the first.
Is it almost out of control?
It's unbelievable. We're suffering from our own success.
As the competitors for the final make their way to the grid, our onboard cameras are carried by 1993 champion Michael Cullen, who's surprisingly on the second row, and by Liam Rabbit, who's come through the qualifying race to take his place in the final.
And there is the grid for the Dunlop Fiat Uno Cup to be raced over 10 laps. On pole position, Steve Griffin, number 2, then number 6 alongside him, Edward O'Connor. On the second row of the grid, the first of our camera cars, Michael Cullen, number 1, and then number 24, alongside him, Liam Denning, a newcomer to the class. You see the second of our camera cars, number 12, there at the top of your screen, and we're ready for the off. We're in the Michael Cullen's car as we head down towards Coca-Cola Corner for the first lap. Steve Griffin in the lead, slotting into second place, O'Connor, and then Cullen making a dive down the inside. Cullen going for second place. Has he got it? We're at the moment in Liam Rabbit's car, back amongst the dogs, as the saying goes in motor racing. And Cullen is in fact in second place as he heads out into the country for the first time with Steve Griffin, his great adversary last year, who has made a very nice little start there indeed. Down they come to Budweiser Bend. Back with Rabbit's car, we're back in about 8th place here, and fighting at the wheel, little front wheel drive, Fiat Uno's very reliable engine and gearbox, really take an awful lot of punishment. Clutch is sometimes a little bit suspect, but already Steve Griffin has made quite a break. We see Michael Cullen fighting as he now comes up towards Dunlop Corner. Here they come, streaming up on the first lap. So it's Griffin in the lead, Cullen in second place, O'Connor third, and then a whole gaggle of cars very close indeed behind that. Meanwhile, back with Liam Rabbit, who soars from lock to lock as he comes round Dunlop Bend and heads down, and already we have 2 casualties there. Number 3 is Eugene Heary, and number 25 was Noel McIntyre, and both seem to be heavily damaged. We're skipping ahead now to lap 3, and it's a lot closer. Undoubtedly, Michael Cullen, number 1 there, is closing in on the leader, and Ed O'Connor going very, very well indeed in third place. Michael Cullen shifting up as we come down onto this very late apex bend. Notice you don't come in until you're almost round the bend. Steve Griffin showing us the perfect line, so you get absolutely flat-out acceleration through the right-hander and then up the hill. And this is another tricky one because you're absolutely blind when you come into this corner. You don't see your braking distances, and consequently you will see a lot of people sliding off on this bend. Michael Cullen is really trying. We saw him 3-wheeling round that corner just a minute or 2 ago, but he doesn't quite seem to have the speed in the straight line. Steve Griffin keeping the lead then. Michael Cullen in second place, Ed O'Connor in third. We're back with Liam Rabbit, who's now under the braking distance to Coca-Cola Corner and just going past number 19 there. That's one of the Pratts, Clive Pratt from Carlo in his Fiat Uno. Number 5 also in attendance, that's David Maguire from Walkinston. Back with the leaders, and still no change up front. Michael Cullen, not used to being led, let's face it, in this class. He had an ultra-successful year. In fact, the only one that beat him last year was Steve Griffin. Here's a real dogfight. Number 19, Clive Pratt there, just behind our camera car. And going off into the scenery, that's Frank Keane from Dorky, number 14, and he's well and truly stuck. But it's getting very close up front. Still O'Connor staying in touch in third place. And in fourth place is Liam Denning, who actually won that car in a draw. Great battles going, and that's Cullen out of control, totally out of control. And the world is streaming by, having to take the grass there to avoid him. So Cullen has lost, 5 or 6 places there, and that's not going to do his championship hopes any good. Here we see it. He lost it up in Dunlop. It went on for a long time, and there he nearly causes another incident by reversing to get back on the track and back in a forward motion. Here we see it from inside. One lock, then the other. He never gives up, but it's totally gone. Didn't stall the engine, you notice. Into reverse, and away he goes and watches the world stream by. Now we see it from Liam Rabbitt's car, and he had an embarrassing moment. But fortunately, Michael was out of the way by the time he really arrived. So Cullen way out of it. Meanwhile, still Steve Griffin up front, and we're going back to the 4th place battle now. And what a little battle this one is. Number 5 there, David Maguire, leads number 8, and that is, in fact, David Kidd, the ex-Peugeot driver, and Cullen's at it again. What a day Michael Cullen's having in the DC car. Really no success at all, and his immaculate machine is beginning to look a little bit bent. So Michael Cullen way back now, who was desperately trying to make up places. He was just coming down into the double apex Budweiser car. It's all gone wrong for him in the most impossible way. He was lucky he wasn't rammed there again in the side, and he's lost an awful lot of time, but once again, cleverly, he didn't stall the engine, kept it running. But Cullen surely is well out of the points this day. Meanwhile, Steve Griffin now all out in his own in the International battery car. They're in 2nd place, Ed O'Connor. Ed O'Connor, ex-Formula 4 driver, who's moved into enjoying these little Fiats, a much cheaper form of racing, and really highly competitive indeed. These two are rather lonely, 1st and 2nd place. Then we have the real battle for 3rd place. It's Denning in 3rd place, and this great fight. Number 5, Dave Maguire, still leading there. Number 12, our camera car. Meanwhile, back with the leader, nice low shot there. Ed O'Connor in 2nd place, concentrating with the head down. Always a sign that a driver is really trying. Right out over the curbs. There's number 12, Rabbit, our camera car. In behind him now, Dave Maguire. He's got up a place. And then David Kidd in the Listerine car taking up the battle just behind that train. Out they go into the country. And Liam Denning, number 24, has broken clear of this 4th place battle. We're looking almost in the window of Dave Maguire there. David Kidd right on his tail. Then a whole chain more of Fiat Unos as they stream down the hill. But nobody to touch Steve Griffin today. The man, multi-experienced racing driver, but has had about a 10-year layoff, came back into racing last year. There's Ed O'Connor in 2nd place, his father very much involved in motor racing too. So Steve Griffin's going to take the checkered flag, Ed O'Connor is 3rd, and it's going to be Liam Denning 4th, but who's going to be 5th? It looks like our camera car is going to make it. Liam Rabbit, who came from the qualifying heats, a very good result indeed in 4th place, with Dave Maguire 5th. Steve, congratulations. Looked a bit lonely out there.
It was in the end, but it wasn't as easy as it looked. Ed was going well, and I was afraid to relax, so we kept at it all the time.
2nd season of Fiat Unos, and there's more and more to challenge it.
I don't know. I hope it goes well for the rest of the season. So far, we've had a good season, and everything has gone right. Last year, we started badly, but we finished quite good, so I hope this year it isn't the other way around.
RPM drops into Mondello Park for the 5th round of the Dunlop Fiat Uno Cup. There's a new face at the top of the practice times, Michael Barrable, 12 years since he claimed pole position.
Michael Barrable, I hear you were flying in practice.
Yes, we have pole position today, which I'm very, very happy to have, because when we were down here yesterday, we actually had a total brake failure. Our master cylinder went, and we did a lot of damage to the car, and we worked on the car all night. I think we finished up around 6:30, 7 o'clock this morning. Aidan from AMF Motorsport, they worked on it all through the night. We still have a lot of damage on the car, but we got the car at least looking right this morning. I love the wet conditions, and I just put my mind down to it, and I said, look, I'm going to try and repay the lads for all their work they did last night, and we got it.
Eugene, you have the dubious honour of carrying the camera today.
Yes, I have indeed, Plum, and hopefully I can bring the car back in one piece, particularly with the slippery conditions that we have here today.
Well, now, we won't talk about the last meeting, because you didn't bring the car back in one piece when we last had the television cameras.
Well, that's true, but we certainly got the car rebuilt for Pembrey and had an excellent run there, finished second to Stevie. So very pleased with that, and hopefully it's going just as well today.
So Eugene Heary leads us out onto the grid for this 15-lap Uno final.
Michael Barrable, the former Formula Ford and rallyman, takes up his coveted pole position. At number 2 there, the championship leader, Steve Griffin. On the second row, the new man, Roy McCain from the north of Ireland, number 64. Then 6 is Ed O'Connor. Going back to the third row, we have the current champion, that's Michael Cullen, and alongside him, David Kidd, who has come from Persia Racing. We're looking back from David Kidd's car, and we can see our other in-car camera car 2 rows back. Number 12 is Liam Rabbit and number 4, Gary Pillow. Then moving back again, we have number 11, Des Cullen, the father of Michael Cullen, the current champion, and then our second in-car camera, Eugene Heary, number 3. So that's the lineup, and that's the view from Eugene Heary's car as the lights are just about to go to green. It's a 15-lap Dunlop Fiat Uno Cup qualifier, the 5th round of this hotly contested championship. We're aboard with Eugene Heary, looking back now from Gary Pillow at Eugene Heary as we come down into Coca-Cola Bend. And it'll be a miracle if everything goes all right. Here he's in the wars, he's tapped at the back, he's left, right, but he's caught the car, but there's quite a gap now as the leaders get away from this high-speed traffic jam. Gary Pillow shadows David Kidd as we go down the long back straight into the double apex Bridgestone Bend. And it looks like Kidd is pulling away a little bit with Gary Pillow closing under braking, both going past Ed O'Connor, and indeed Ed O'Connor receiving severe contact there from Gary Pillow as the Fiats fight their way back towards the main stadium. We're with Eugene Heary, who's got a lot of ground to make up now. And down he comes. This is another double apex corner, the left-hander. You've got to take it very late, but way ahead it is Steve Griffin who leads, number 2. In second place, there we have the pole position man is Michael Barrable. And then look at these wars all the way down the field. There's number 3, our camera car, Eugene Heary. Looking back then from David Kidd, who's pulled ahead now of Ed O'Connor, making quite a little gap. But in first place, Steve Griffin. Second is Michael Barrable. Third there, a tremendous improvement. Number 1, Michael Cullen, who's really making up ground. And they're fighting it out as they come round Coca-Cola Bend and head off on their second lap. Back on board with Eugene Heary. That's Ed O'Connor ahead, and he's having a tremendous fight with Roy McCain. But there's the fight for second place now as Michael Cullen in the National Batteries car closes in. Eugene Heary also closing in. And Ed O'Connor and Roy McCain are absolutely side by side as they exit over the curbs, over the horizon and back into the main arena. And look at that battle, isn't that superb? He's going to try, Ed O'Connor try and go right round the outside. That's pretty optimistic. Meanwhile, up front, Steve Griffin is pulling away. Michael Barrable in second place with a very close attention now of Michael Cullen. Then we have David Kidd in our camera car. Then this battle, Ed O'Connor, which we can see now from Eugene Heary's car. Ed O'Connor and Roy McCain. And Eugene Heary seems to be hauling these two in. Meanwhile, Michael Cullen challenging now for second place on the outside. No go there. Eugene Heary then in 7th place, looking at McCain just ahead of him again, trying to outbrake O'Connor as they go into Coca-Cola Bend. And fighting with the understeer, the little front-wheel drive cars, as it goes from lock to lock. And Cullen has managed to get through into second place. So Michael Cullen, who was way down on the 3rd row of the grid, now moved up into second. And remember that Michael has yet to win a Fiat Uno race this year. Here's another family battle. That's his father, number 11, Des Cullen, in mortal combat there with number 30, Fitzgerald, and Nigel Pratt, number 18, as they come down in a big, big gaggle down the main straight. They're way back in about 10th place at the moment, but it's fraught Fiat Uno racing right around this circuit, and what fun this championship is, now in its 2nd year. So Des Cullen, undoubtedly, with well over 30 years of racing under his belt there. There's Nigel Pratt, number 18, trying on the outside line, a whole gaggle of cars. We can pick out a few of them. I think we saw Mark Coffin amongst that lot. But it's Des Cullen, Nigel Pratt at the moment, then Fitzgerald, and then we've Michael Clooney. in amongst that lot, but meanwhile back up front, taking a leap ahead, and the gap between first and second has really closed up. Is Steve Griffin going to be challenged by last year's champion? Certainly it doesn't look like David Kidd is going to challenge today. He's slowed right down there on the inside. In fact, we're on board with him now as number 25, that's Noel McIntyre, goes past us. Number 5 also slipping through there, David Maguire, and I'm afraid the Listerine car has had enough for today. And there goes one of our onboard cameras. As David Kidd grinds to a halt, we pick up that battle, but look, there's something happening up there at Dunlop Corner. A big accident. There's 3 cars in the sand pit. Meanwhile, Des Cullen has been challenged. We see now in the replay, Des Cullen being challenged by Nigel Pratt coming round the outside. But look in the foreground, because 3 cars have tangled. It's done. Gary Pillow's there, and Clive Pratt, not damaged, but held up in that fracas. Meanwhile, up front, Steve Griffin and Michael Cullen really closing in now. Cullen closing in for the kill, but it's one thing to catch, it's another thing to get past. And here's that other great battle for 7th place, Eugene Heary trying to get O'Kane. Meanwhile, Cullen tried there up front, so we're concentrating on these 2 battles. Here's O'Kane. We're back at the moment at Bridgestone Corner as they come up over the horizon. Eugene Heary now trying, he's got a chance down the inside, and he's through. Meanwhile, at Dunlop, no change. Griffin, quite rightly, taking his normal line, but this time pulling out of the slipstream. Michael Cullen, has he got a quicker car in a straight line? We're about to find out. Steve Griffin on the outside, Cullen's well lined up on the inside. I'm surprised Griffin's allowing him to do that, and Cullen goes down under the braking into Coca-Cola, takes over the lead, and that's the place we saw virtually all last year, ahead of the Fiat Unos, now cocking a wheel as he tries to pull away from Steve Griffin in the other National Batteries car, and that's not going to be easy. But that's the way it remained. Last lap, Latz Corner, Michael Cullen delighted, already waving as he heads for the checkered flag. For his first win of the season, Steve Griffin will be pleased enough with the points. In 2nd place, he still leads the championship. Meanwhile, in 3rd place, Michael Barrable, who's had a very fraught weekend, but will be pleased with that position, and indeed his first pole, as he comes down to take 3rd, a lonely 3rd. Ed O'Connor 4th. Eugene Heary has fought his way back up into 5th place, ahead of O'Kane. And then the rest of the pack, there's Mark Cuff just coming through picture, and Des Cullen still holding off this tremendous battle as 21 there goes through picture, Michael Conley. But the result is a win, the first win for Michael Cullen. Steve Griffin, good points, and there you can see the top 5. And there's the situation, Steve Griffin way out ahead with those 58 points.
3 offs in the last 3 rounds, so I was beginning to have a dint in my confidence, so this couldn't have come at a better time.
It was a great passing manoeuvre.
Yeah, I finally got the car set up really, really well. The Murray Motorsport guys have done a wonderful job. The car is flying, and really it was down to me. I think on the day we were quicker, and it was just a question of working our way up through the field.
What do you do on your weekends off? Go down the park, walk the dog, play a bit of tennis, or join 26 other Fiat Uno owners for a quiet Sunday afternoon drive? Liam, you came into racing under very extraordinary circumstances.
We were out here last year, and Mark Turley from Rathdown and myself just bought a few tickets in between us, and we couldn't believe it to hear one night that we won the car. That's how really we got into it.
Ten laps around the triangular track in the heart of Dublin lie ahead for the identical Unos. And in the midst of the Fiat hordes, Des Cullen, a man who has raced down this straight for more than 30 years, an incredible achievement.
And an equally good achievement for Michael Barrable to put it on pole position here at the Argus Rent-A-Car race at the Finish Park. Beside him, young Ed O'Connor. Now watch for the flag up front, which will signal the start. He will hold it up straight for maybe 1-2 seconds, and on the drop of that flag is whoever gets the grip best. But a good start from Barrable. Beside him, Ed O'Connor. We're looking out the back window of Barrable's car. O'Connor has moved over here to close that inside line. He wants to hold on to that 2nd place. And in the pack, lock and wheel there from David Kidd, gets it sideways, up over the grass, just comes back, pushes O'Connor slightly, but doesn't really push him, but doesn't let him back on. Watch it again. He's locked that left front wheel, he's heading for the infield, just catches the hump of grass there, gets it up on two wheels. That's Turley on there. So Eugene Healy getting through on the inside. Lucky Michael Cullen again has picked the right side of the road, but there's no doubt about our leader on the way down to the Furry Glen, Michael Barrable, number 22, and he's followed now by David Kidd, Eugene Healy, Turley, and then Ed O'Connor, and right beside him Michael Cullen.
So up he heads on the third straight of this course. It's a triangular course, and next rallyman Michael Barrable, and indeed the rallymen have shown very well this weekend here at Phoenix Park. This is the sort of surfaces that they're used to. And up he comes into Agfa Mountjoy corner, and look out for the green car about 4 cars back. That's Michael Cullen. He's beginning to make up places. In second place there in the Listerine car, number 8, David Kidd. Up they come, the long start-finish straight to complete their first lap.
Ed O'Connor there moving over in the background. You can see O'Connor just looking for some way. Mark Turley still holding that 4th place. There's Michael Cullen, followed by Ed O'Connor. Second place man there, Kidd in the Listerine car as he came up. All very brave, using the left-hand side of the road, letting Cullen coming down again late on the race. A little bit of touching there. And we're losing a place. Ed O'Connor nearly lost a place there, but that's Clive Pratt, I think it is, there moving in well, and a huge bunch of them all together there.
And a little bit of fights the whole way down the field, and there goes Michael Leonard Sr. off into the barrier, hitting the old barrier. A good old thump there in the Nace Court Hotel car. He hasn't damaged the car. He'll get going again, but he's lost an awful lot of time. It's cosmetic, it doesn't look pretty, but it goes.
No, and Fred makes his way down the back of the park. Meanwhile, Michael Barrable out front from David Kidd, from Eugene here. And Michael at the moment, a very useful lead, doesn't seem to be under any pressure. You can see Cullen has got by Mark Turley there. And we're sitting here with David Kidd as we head up towards the Agfa Mountjoy corner. On the straight, he seems to be able to pull him in. Michael, though, just nice on the brakes. Doesn't get flustered at all. No locking wheels. He doesn't want to do anything silly at this stage. There's a long way to go. Closing slightly there, Kidd under braking, but a super exit there from Michael Barrable.
Once again up this long straight, and it's very important to get a good exit, and that's why they're using all the road. You can see some of them just kissing the dust on the outside of the corner there. They try to get onto that straight at maximum speed.
Cullen up into 4th place by Turley there. Now he's got to have his eyes set on Eugene Healy. So that's Kidd. This is Healy with Cullen closing in under braking. Then Mark Turley. Then Ed O'Connor, and Ed at the moment being bumped back down. That is Clive Pratt, I think it is, up there. He's sitting on the back of Ed O'Connor's. Will he be the next one to go by O'Connor? Maybe he has a problem, but a problem there for David Kidd. New second place man Eugene Healy. Michael Cullen goes by. The tail boot up in the air. We don't know whether that was a result of the first corner touching or somebody has touched through. That is not going to make him any quicker anyway. It won't act as a wing with that hole up in the air. But meanwhile, back with our leader, Barrable now, the new second place man, under pressure. Eugene under pressure from Michael Cullen as he goes out to the left-hand side of the road. The two of them very evenly match as they go through. The Findus Motors car can see nothing but a green Uno in the mirror.
Up at the top goes Michael Barrable, and then he will be braking shortly for Dublin Corner, but coming off the track, sadly, number 8, the Listerine car of David Kidd. What happened, David?
The first corner seemed to be a bit of a schmozzles, and one or two cars hit each other, but I didn't realise that the tail boot had opened up. I just never noticed, but when I put into third gear there was a first drag on the engine, and I thought that I was after losing a plug or something, but the lads telling me it was the tailgate. I never even noticed it was open. It seemed like a big fin on the back, and that's all that really happened.
But we didn't notice your tailgate open till well into the race. We're on lap 6 as we come down into Dublin Crystal Corner again. Michael Barrable doing everything right as he turns in nice and neat, missing the actual deepest part of that bump there, which seems to upset the car. Cullen really on the toes there, and this is a superb battle here. Mark Cuff and Mark Small getting a little help in a circuit from Michael O'Connell, but gets away with it. Mark not having a good Phoenix Park. He blew a superb engine that he's been using all year yesterday, so you have to put this one in. Not quite as good, but bearable now as they head for the Furry Glen.
So fun at both ends of the field. Michael Barrable leads. And in second place now, it's Michael Cullen who's moved up ahead of Eugene Heary, number 3 there, just coming through picture. Ed O'Connor is also improving as the laps go by. Then we've Thurley, then we've number 12, that's Rabbit, Fitzgerald, Pratt, and the final one in that chain, McIntyre. And there's fun right throughout the field as the Furry Glen Formation Dancing team arrive. That's Michael O'Connell and Mark Cuff.
It's Mark Cuff losing out in that manoeuvre, but up front, Michael Cullen not losing out. He's gained a lot now. Once he disposed of Eugene Heary, these two, in fact, Barnable and Cullen, pulling out a good bit there on Eugene Heary, but Cullen get the head down now. Every car length makes a difference. He hasn't got much to do. The battle here is really good. 5 laps. That's Turley. That's Fitzgerald. They are fighting now for 5th and 6th place. A lot of dust there. Ed O'Connor still on the road. So it's bearable from Cullen as they head down to Dublin Crystal Corner. A wide entrance, wide road, about 35 feet wide, goes into what would be a B road type of thing. So it's not enough room. You've got to get it right on the edge of this huge dip that's in the centre of the corner, otherwise it knocks the car out of line. Back down to the Furry Glen. Again, Barrable just sitting back. Cullen working a lot harder than Michael there, but then at the moment, quick look in the mirror, he can do no more. He's doing everything he can do. Heary losing out to these two. Ed O'Connor should be the next man up if Turley hasn't disposed of him. No, Ed pulling a few laps, but Fitzgerald now begin to put Turley under pressure.
Pratt and McIntyre also going through picture, and then surprisingly far back Steve Griffin. And don't tell me they're at it again. Yes, O'Connell goes wide and Mark Cuff goes wider.
Yes, this time he follows him. Well, you know, you win some, you lose some, but a good battle, as Alan says. Up front they're battling down the back, but this is the battle up front for the first place. And in first place at the moment, locking a left-hand front wheel, is Michael Barrable. As he comes up for the checkered flag, I doubt if Michael Cullen can do anything, and this will be a superb result for Michael. 2 out of 2 in the 1994 Phoenix Park as he makes his way down the Dunlop Straight for the checkered flag for the 2nd time this weekend.
So Michael Barrable wins the August Rent-A-Car Dunlop race for the Dunlop Fiat Uno Cup contestants. In 2nd place, Michael Cullen, 3rd, Eugene Heary, and 4th, Ed O'Connor.
We've been knocking on the door a couple of times. We've persisted. We've kept with the car. Aidan from AF Motorsport has worked, you know, thoroughly for weeks and weeks to get this car really right for this weekend. The car handled right, brake right, it did everything right for me. I was very happy with it.
Heroes of today are preparing for the Kirkistown round of the Dunlop Fiat Uno Cup. That fabulous formula of identical saloon car racing which has taken the Irish circuits by storm. One thing for certain, you need a sense of humour to race Fiat Unos. Barely Bearable and Michael Barrable. Barry Barrable. You get terrible nicknames in motor racing.
Yeah, it's a name, I think. Well, Michael started building it up over the last 10 years, I think, and I've seen to keep the name going.
And of course, Michael, you're gone into Fiat Unos in a big way this year with great success at Phoenix Park.
Yes, having spoken to you in the Phoenix Park, I was extremely delighted to win the Phoenix Park. To me, it's like comparing to winning the Circuit of Ireland. And Kirkistown here, it's only my 2nd time, but with all the years of experience I have, it's only my actual 2nd visit to Kirkistown. And we're on the front row of the grid today. So if I can repeat my Phoenix Park win here today, I'll be very, very happy.
Roy McCain, you're the first man from the north to dive into the Fiat Uno, so you seem to be enjoying it thoroughly.
We were a wee bit slow to get off the mark at the start of the season. We missed a couple of rounds and then we got up and running at Mondello. We've had a good start so far. A few car problems, but we've managed to finish all the rounds so far, and we've had a good run here this morning. Let's keep our fingers crossed that it pans out in the race and we get.
So you're on pole position in front of the home crowd, yeah?
I don't say it's the home crowd because it's quite a distance up to here, but I suppose it's our home track being in the north, and we've got pole position this morning, and we did 2 good laps and one of them was good enough to get us pole, and we're happy with that, and hopefully we can keep the car consistent then for the race itself.
Ed O'Connor, you're another man that came from Formula Ford to this Fiat Uno. You're obviously thoroughly enjoying it.
Yeah, it's a great class, thoroughly enjoying it. It's the 2nd year out and it's good fun.
And you're getting the results?
Yeah, I'm having 2 seconds and a 3rd so far, so I'm very happy.
What about Kirkistown? Do you know this track?
Not that well, but I'm getting the hang of it now. I like it up here.
And how's practice gone?
Practice is going well with 2 problems in practice, but we've it sorted out now, so we hope to finish up well in the grid.
So it's time to put down the tools and put on the helmets and go motor racing.
And here at Kirkistown, it is a different lineup than the usual. We have a new man, as we know, on pole position, Roy McCain, an ex-stock rod driver. That's where they drive on the ovals in the stadiums. And beside him, Michael Barrable, winner of the Phoenix Park. That's the front row. But on the second row, the 2 men that have really been all-conquering and all heroes. But there's our man, Roy McCain, pole position man, as I say, ex-stock rod racer from the old. Beside him, Michael Barrable, the Fiat dealer from North County Dublin. A lot of experience in rallying, rallied an Opel Manta for a number of years. In the background there, last year's champion in the Fiat Unos, Michael Cullen in the DC car. Vastly experienced driver in saloons, also in Group N and these units. There on the left we see David Kidd. We're looking out the back of Michael Cullen's car. Now beside him, the actual new champion for 1994 because of his results so far, the elder statesman, not too elder by the way, Steve Griffin. We're waiting for the flag raised. As you see the drop, will it be a good start from McCain in his first pole position? All important for that corner. A good start from Barrow. Steve Griffin on the second row making a good start. Remember this first left-hander debtors, but we're looking at it now out through David Kidd's car and back again looking at David Kidd out of Michael Cullen's car as they go down a long drag in third gear. And all-important Kane, very brave, out the outside there. Cullen really locking up on the inside, locking that back wheel and pushing Barrable out of third place. And that lets David Kidd into third place as they go to Colonial 1 and then to Colonial 2. Then they make their way down to Fisherman, the long right-hander, which brings them out onto the back straight, which used to be a very long back straight, but they've put a beautiful chicane in here in Kirkistown. So it's still McCain from Cullen, from a never-charging David Kidd as they come up. You'll see in they come. Kidd looking at that inside line this early in the race might slow him down slightly, but a huge train of Unos.
Down the back straight, and this is where they really go up through the gears. It's important to get a good run onto that back straight. We're looking back at the moment from Michael Cullen's car in second place, now looking forward to his car as they come down heavy onto the brakes any second now. It's Roy McCain in second place, Michael Cullen, then Kidd, and trying to go round the outside, Steve Griffin there.
And all the time the red car in the background there, Ed O'Connor, the young man we interviewed, who's having such good success here with the Park Lane Motors car. He's watching the wily old Steve, and if he leaves that gap open, he'll nip through. Cullen very close to McCain now as they go down through Debtors. The fastest corner in Irish motor racing at the moment of all the circuits that they race on. Through there you can see the cars drifting out there the speed, and looking at the inside, Cullen, Roy McCain not being intimidated, closing, turning in, but Cullen there, or I should say Griffin, just nipping by Kidd under braking. That's a superb move by Steve. He wants to get away from the charging Ed O'Connor. Kidd looking in the mirror, having a look at that inside. You'll be better off moving over to the left and taking the quicker line. Steve will just pull away from you here now as they pop in, and in he goes in behind them. But these two out front just pulling a slight gap. Kane coming through there, Cullen over the curbs, Steve Griffin in third place, David Kidd in fourth, and Ed O'Connor in fifth. As Alan says, you've got to get out of this chicane really right to get the speed down the straight.
So once again, the only time you get a breather at Kirkistown is down this long back straight, and you're working out your strategy. You're glancing in the mirror to see where the opposition is, like right now, and he's left the door open just enough for Cullen to squeeze down the inside past 64 there. Roy McCain as they come out of this hairpin. It's a very open, a very fast corner indeed, up past the start finish line to start another lap.
Yes, you can see in the background there Steve Griffin having a look at the inside of Roy McCain's car, while in the background David Kidd and Ed O'Connor. Ed on the outside there with the red car looking for the next corner, which is Colonial 1. But it's Michael Cullen in his customary place of last year out in front, followed by the newcomer Roy McCain. And another place lost by David Kidd. Ed O'Connor nips through on the inside this time as they make their way into Colonial 2. They're heading for Fisherman's now, which brings you back out onto the short straight, which brings you up to the new chicane. That's the second place man, McCain, as we're looking out the back of Michael Cullen's car. And the new third place man now is Steve Griffin. So Steve beginning to make inroads on the back of McCain's car as they come through the chicane.
And I'm very impressed with this guy, Roy McCain. He's really showing an extraordinary maturity. Of course, he's very well used to racing in very close circumstances on oval racing. Leaping ahead now to lap 5. No changes, you could say, except that our other camera car has dropped back a little bit. There's a man that's surprisingly far down, Michael Barrable, number 22, who is right there on the front row of the grid. But the battle up front is as hot and heavy as ever. And certainly Cullen, who had it pretty well his own way last year in Fiat Uno racing. We've got young man Carl Leonard there off, and it's his first visit to Kirkistown, so he was doing very well up to that point.
Yeah, started in 8th place in grid and was actually in 6th place, and a little touch there from Cullen, nothing too heavy. That can't be avoided when you come in here with front wheel drive. But look at Ed O'Connor and Steve Griffin, they're watching this battle up front. The two boys side by side. Cullen got the advantage again from McCain, but in the background the red car. Any mistake at all by these two and O'Connor will be through, and any mistake by O'Connor and Steve Griffin will be back into 3rd place. Superb Uno battle.
And the large crowd here at the Martin Donnelly sponsored meeting really enjoying this Fiat Uno racing. They only get 2 opportunities to see it during the year, and this is superb stuff. This is at its very best. Roy McCain still challenging all the way. You can't afford any mistake in these little cars because they're identically powered. Once you make a mistake, that's it. You're gone for the whole race.
Seems to have the legs of Cullen True Fisherman's out onto the short straight, and still the power of the engine. They're catching up on some back markers now, and this could cause a problem. Back marker staying well over to the left there. That's Cullen in the lead. We've gone ahead. This is the end of lap 11. We're just starting the last lap, lap 12, and it's Cullen True. Where's McCain? Has he gone the wrong side? No, he's taken the outside line again. That's the back marker who may just split the 3rd and 4th place men. But here's our first 2, and look at that. Ed O'Connor, is it down the inside? It is indeed, having a do or die move. When McCain moved over behind that back marker, O'Connor got out on the quick line, and they're into the chicane again.
And I think it was a die move there because he's dropped right back in 3rd place. So the big question as they come down to the last corner now, can O'Kane snatch victory here from the very, very experienced Michael Cullen in the National Batteries Fiat Uno? So Cullen will be very well aware he keeps the inside line, and it's going to be pretty impossible for Roy McCain to get it now as he accelerates up towards the checkered flag.
And the 3rd place man, Ed O'Connor, not too far ahead of Steve Griffin in 4th place. So it's Cullen from McCain, from O'Connor, from Griffin, and David Kidd in 5th place.
So the Dunlop Fiat Uno Cup contestants have really entertained the crowd here at Kirkistown on their 2nd visit to the north this year. And once again onto the top spot on the podium goes Michael Cullen, receiving his trophy there from Paddy Byrne, the series coordinator. In 2nd place, Roy McCain. Look out for him in the future. Undoubtedly, he's a new star. And there's Ed O'Connor, the man who came from Formula 4 to be very consistent in this class. Stephen Griffin has already been crowned the 1994 Dunlop Fiat Uno champion as the one-make racers gather for the last time at Mondello, and for some, it's a family affair. Some might say there's an awful lot of Prats and Carlo. Nigel, you must get a bit of rigging about the name.
Oh, we do, but we're used to it at this stage.
You've a tremendous family interest in this Fiat Uno racing.
Well, I've only come into it since last year. Clive myself came in first, and David, my twin brother, joined us this year. We're lucky enough that Clive is the main fit dealer in Carlow. I'll run a body shop, so between us we can get things sorted out fairly well.
So you got sucked in by the other two brothers, David?
Sucked in, yeah. I watched them for a year and I said, this is me, I'm in there with them. Give them a bit of a push on. Thoroughly enjoying it, great.
Well, the cars are an absolute credit to you. They're beautifully prepared.
Oh, yeah, we put a good deal of work into it. Having the body shop and the backup of the dealership as well is quite a help.
From the Pratts to the Griffins, who are lending their car to Morris Mitten for the day. Good day, good day. Roy, you've done quite a bit of work since we last saw you.
Yeah, we've had a busy couple of weeks. I was pretty lucky in that sponsored by Body Shop by Like Motors, and they straightened the car out for me, and my sponsor Martin Boyle gave me the panels for it, and my engine man had a bit of work to do too, but we got it all together and we finished it yesterday morning, and we haven't run it unfortunately, so we'll just cross our fingers and hope that everything works out okay.
They've obviously put the nuts and bolts in the right place because Roy McCain is on pole position. in the wet, slippy conditions. Man sponsored by Martin Boyle, who you remember from Formula 4 2000 days. Beside him, Michael Barrable, the garage owner from Swords, who had a superb success at the Phoenix Park. Inside the second row, Eugene Heary, and beside him, the man who won the championship in 1993, Michael Cullen, on the second row there. On the inside, we have Maurice Mitten, known to his friends as the Glove, in the lone car from the champion, Steve Griffin. On the outside of him is Trevor Noble, and that's the third row of the grid. On the back of the grid, one of our in-car cameras in Mark Thurley's car, and this should be an interesting shot. Away they go, and not a great start from Barrable. He got a lot of wheel spin there, but look at Cullen on the left in the green car, making up, and obviously he's really got the grip, and he's going to move up into second place. Eugene Healy on the inside in the blue car there, obviously wanted to move as well. McCain does it all. Roy McCain does it all right into second place. This is from inside Mark Thurley's car. He's got a wall of Unos in front of him. Remember, he started right from the back of the grid, and he's going to have to wait a lap till they settle themselves down, because two abreast, it's hard to make it three in these conditions. As they make their way right down into the back of the circle, a spinner there, Michael O'Connell in the Sweeney and Forte car, just spinning as they exit the first hairpin. He's going to have a lot to do to catch up.
And it's slippy, very, very slippy, particularly down at this double apex corner right at the extremities of the circuit. But it's Roy McCain in first place, Cullen in second, and we're aboard with Michael Barrable, who is struggling to keep on the track there in third place.
Quick glance in the mirror there from Michael to see who's in the background, and it is a long train of Unos, but McCain at the moment using the benefits, no spray up front, and O'Connell again going mad to get this car to take a bite out of the grass, but they are slippy conditions. You watch in the background, you see them taking off at odd angles. McCain very confident has come up the hill, Cullen running a little wide there, and Barrable nips inside, McCain getting a little slide, but a good move from Michael Barrable there, pumping the throttle to get grip, and he's moved up into second place. So there it is Barrable just nipped through, Cullen dropping back, and that's Turley. He's moved up 3 places already. He's still got a line of Unos to go by. We're moved on to lap 5, and that is still our leader, Roy McCain. Barrable still holding that second place. In fact, McCain beginning to move out slightly. Don't forget, we've lost Michael Cullen down into 4th place, so the danger man behind Michael is Eugene Healy, who's driving very, very good indeed and using a few extraordinary lines. There's Cullen, now coming under pressure from Maurice Mitten, as we've told you, in the Steve Griffin car. And in the background, you'll see Carl Cleary in the Martin Plant Motorsport car. So all these builders all doing well this year. That's Turley coming down, the spinner in front of him. He's going to take avoiding action, but doesn't really get by. That's the DID car there of Turley, but Clive Pratt there just getting it all together. We're back up front, the sliding Carl Cleary. Very slippy conditions here. It's actually better when it rains much heavier. Just nice and slimy. McCain up front. Barrable very, very confident using that outside line. You see Cullen using the inside, the middle of the road, keeping that inside line nicely closed in case Maurice Mitten decides to have a look up. And all this time, Carl Cleary just beginning to nip on the back of them.
And you've got to remember that those two cars, those two drivers, I should say, are in fact Fiat Uno novices. So it's very good going indeed. Here's the battle for second place, though. We have Eugene Healy, number 3 there. Very experienced driver indeed, as is Michael Barrable. Barrable, not only has he done Formula Ford racing, but also rallying. And he's under big pressure from the man behind, who's Formula V. And we ran again, O'Connell. He's really having a busy day. The battle now for second is back in the arena, and very wide indeed there, Eugene. I don't know if that was intentional, Brian.
Well, it's dry out there. Maybe came in a little late, but he seemed to get a lot of grip and catch right back on the bumper of Michael Barrable. There is a dry patch out there, but it's a long way around. These little Unos haven't got the huge power of the 2-litre Group N cars, so you've got to keep them wound up. Again, Cullen up the centre of the road. Maurice Mitten using the fast line should be able to tag right onto his bumper with a quicker exit. And all this time, in the background, the white car there of Carl Cleary really pushing on. And Eugene Healy definitely on. Barrable's got it wide, got a wheel on the grass, but keeps it together. And Eugene Healy, the dancing swans and the double apex, and he lost out all that advantage he's made. And look at this, Mitten has got by Cullen. We're back on to lap 9. Our leader, Roy McCain, is through. Barrable, nice, healthy second place. Eugene here recovering now after that spin, and who will it be? It should be Mitten through into fourth place, and clearly trying to go around the outside of Castle. Little bit of paint being swapped, but Cullen gets the nose just in front. So Michael Cullen now under pressure from Carl Cleary, and another long spin, as you can see just how it scrubs off the speed. The battle in the background, still Mitten in fourth place, Cleary still on that bumper of Michael Collins.
And a great drive indeed by 45, Carl Cleary. A man who's very well known in the auto test world, and around goes Clive again. Is it number 19, Clive Pratt, spinning down there at Bridgestone? Right around he goes, and we're back now at Dunlop corner, and another Pratt having problems.
Nigel this time, number 18. I think they were feeding these cars on grass this morning because they seemed to want to take a bite out of it, but no damage done. Look, one wheel off the ground. This is the last lap. Can Eugene Healy do anything about Michael Barrable's second place, and can Carl Cleary do anything about Michael Cullen's fifth place? But there's no doubt about this man. He's got enough space at the moment. He's just got to keep it all together. Hasn't put a wheel wrong down here at the slippiest part of the circuit. Battle for second place in the background. Michael Barrable, Eugene Healy keeping it all together this time. And these three have really pulled a long, long gap out to Maurice Mitten in fourth place. But a good drive from Maurice. Remember, the one-off drive in Steve Griffin's car. McCain in the S's. Can Healy do anything about that wide line out on the drive? Would he take a chance and see if he can get alongside Barrable? He does. Can he just get the nose in front here, the second part of the S? If he does, they'll be side by side. But remember, Dunlop is the next corner, and the inside is the place Eugene wants to be. Little bit of paint swapping there, nothing serious. Michael not giving him a lot of room. Will hope to break a little early and come around the back, but Eugene just holds that centre line. That's a superb manoeuvre from Eugene, especially in the wet conditions. So it looks as if it is going to be McCain the winner from Eugene Healy, from Michael Barrable, and a superb fourth place there from Maurice Mitten, and Carl Cleary also got by Michael Cullen.